There are some situations where your rating for tinnitus, mental health, and sleep apnea could change.
Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over.
It's as simple as this. If you have a 70% rating for mental health, your rating is solid and it's grandfathered in if the VA makes these pushes, unless that rating is subject to change. And I'll explain what that means. So if you put in for an increase and you were rated 70% off the old ratings, and if these changes become final, then that rating would be subject under the current 38 CFR at that point in time, meaning your rating could change. Now, that could be a higher rating, it could be a lower rating, it just depends on what the final proposed changes will look like. But that goes for increases or any sort of change to that rating. So yes, your rating could potentially change, and it's going to affect a ton of veterans. Now, this also includes secondaries, and this is going to be the kind of uppercut that no one's really seeing. If you claim a secondary condition to, let's say, mental health, and if your mental health is re-evaluated, that new rating of the evaluation for mental health will absolutely be based on the new 38 CFR criteria during that point in time. Again, this is assuming those changes become final and are no longer proposed, and when that happens, I'll give you all the updates I possibly can. These proposed changes could all be blowing smoke, but to be honest with you, I don't think that's the case at all. Now I'm going to give you my personal opinion on why I think that, and it's because I believe the VA is on the position that VA disability is too easy to get, and I'll explain just by looking at these proposed changes for mental health, sleep apnea, tinnitus, and migraines. If you have a mental health rating at 70%, a sleep apnea rating at 50%, a tinnitus rating at 10, and a migraine secondary at 50, that totals to 94%. And that 4 disability combo is very, very common and very, very obtainable to a lot of veterans, especially after a 20-year plus war on terror. That doesn't even include the service members pre-Gulf War, peacetime Gulf War, or current. Now, I can't prove my theory, but those are my initial thoughts looking at the proposed changes, how they're going to change in those disabilities specifically. That's the argument I'm going to make. I'm very curious as to what your thoughts are on the proposed changes and why now. That's my number one question. To me, I would probably say it's easier to change future ratings because too many veterans have that high disability rating. And again, I'm speaking from the perspective of the VA here. If I wanted to change that culture, what I would do is make disability harder to obtain to kind of lower those high disability ratings down. So instead of a lot of people having 94% out the gate, now they might have like 50.